Okay, Vicky, it's live now. I'm making you a host again.
Okay. And let's make you a co-host.
Yeah.
All righty.
Thank you.
Done. You're welcome. How's your day been going so far?
It's my second session.
Second session. Okay.
It's going great. Well, is it your first or?
Yes, this is my
Yeah.
first session, and I'm actually hosting a social hour in a little bit. It's Meet the Guide, and that's me. Meet me.
Perfect.
So
Right.
it'll be fun. We have a couple folks signed up. It's going to be very, very casual.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, we have 2 more minutes, and I will go ahead. I always like to introduce our support folks to the group, so I'll go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
All right, let's get this going. So now, how many hours a day are you working, Victor?
It depends on session to session. If I'm like, I have 4 or 5 sessions, and definitely it's like above 7 or 8.
Okay.
And if I'm having 2 or 3 sessions, then definitely it's 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
For weekend, it's like 4 or 5. For weekdays, it's 8 hours.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oof. Keeps you busy. All right. Disable the waiting room. I'm going to go ahead and start my. Start my video. Folks are going to be joining us. Hi, Rana. Valerie's on. Diane is on. Marianne just joined us. I want to say good morning, everyone. It's morning here in California, so I know people are joining from all over. That's the great part. So Valerie, Diane, whoever I have on the call, has anyone hosted a Zoom meeting yet? No. All right. We're here to no. All right. This is fun. So you're here to, what is it all about? Perfect. Because I know we get some folks in class they've tried hosting and they're still, it's like, I really don't know what I'm doing. So, the goal is to clear away that confusion. Hi, Celeste.
Hello, Celeste. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Celeste, I'm just curious, have you hosted a Zoom meeting yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. Got it. I just like to ask folks where we are. I'm just going to wait another minute or so. Have some other folks joining us. Where are folks calling in from today?
Millington, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Memphis. Tennessee.
Memphis. Okay.
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake. All right. God. Looks like you got some sun there
We do today.
today. Today.
Yesterday it was cloudy all day.
Detroit.
Detroit. All right, Valerie. Valerie's holding up Detroit there. And who just joined us as V?
Hi, Vicky.
Hi, who is this?
It's Victoria's Secret.
Oh, okay, Victoria. Do you want me to rename you?
No.
You're gonna rename
I'm
yourself.
good with this. Yeah, I'm good with this.
Okay. So this is Victoria. All right. Good to know. I just like to know who's on the call. That's all. All right. I am going to go ahead and get started because we have a full agenda today, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's go ahead and do this. Share the screen. And just so folks know that I have two monitors here that I work with. And so if you see me moving back and forth, you'll know why. I have different things on different monitors. And I also wanted to let folks know we are joined today. Victor is part of our support team. He's going to be helping me out today, monitoring the chat. If anybody has any technical issues, let us know. For today, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, just unmute yourself, ask away, or feel free to leave a question in the chat, or you can use that virtual raise hand button to raise your hand, and that will let me know that you have a question. So just wanted to get that out there. First of all, welcome everyone. I'm Vicki, your Get Set Up guide. I'm calling in from San Jose, California, good old Northern California in the heart of Silicon Valley. And I worked in high tech for 30 years, doing a number of different things, technical support, lots of technical training, instructional design. I have taught folks from around the world. I've taught people who are very technical, but I've also taught folks who are like yourself, just starting to dip their toes into this world of technology. And working as a guide with Get Set Up allows me to do what I truly love, and that's educate folks about technology. So just a little bit about me. And if you're just dying to know more about me, in another hour after this class, there's a social hour that I'm hosting, and it's getting to know your guide, and that guide is me. So feel free to join us for that, just a little self-promotion. Just some housekeeping details. So we're a learning organization, and ideally we love it when folks turn on their cameras, but I do understand that not everybody feels camera ready, and so I don't insist on it. I leave this up to you. It's fun when we can see each other, but this is your call. Today's class is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. And today we are being joined from folks via live stream. Welcome. You can see and hear everything we're doing in class today, but I always suggest that folks register for a class, and that way you can fully participate. And lastly, Get Set Up is a training organization. I'm not being paid to promote any products, to promote Zoom or anything like that. We are a training organization. We're all about the training. We offer classes, social hours, interest groups, 7 days a week. We are global, so we offer classes in the US, India, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and we're going to be bringing Singapore online. So really exciting. There's something going on 24/7. I always joke with my students that if you're an insomniac and you're roaming around the house at 2 a.m, log on to Get Set Up. There's something going on. You can join a class at any time. So a little bit about us. And I also, any questions? Sorry about that. Anybody have questions? No? Okay. I'm going to ask folks to just stay on mute. Sometimes we have background noise. If you have been taking classes with us for a while and you think you might be interested in hosting an interest group or a social hour, let us know. You can just easily send an email to help@getsetup.io. We will be routing it to the correct people. And we love to have our members participate, whether it's hosting an interest group or a social hour. We love it. And also, if you're enjoying the classes, the social hours that you've been taking here at Get Set Up, feel free to spread the word. If you think that there are friends or family or associates who would really enjoy these classes, let them know. We've made it easier on our website when you sign up for a class. We now have the option to share with a friend. So get on board with that. Today, we're going to be talking about, while you're all here, how to host a meeting. We're going to talk about how to start up what we call an instant meeting, what it takes to host a meeting, how can you also schedule a meeting and then put it on a calendar and invite others to your Zoom session. So that's what we're talking about today. I've gotten a feel for folks who have hosted a Zoom meeting. Some of you have not. So there's going to be a little bit for everyone today. What are the requirements for hosting? So if you have never hosted a meeting and you've been joining meetings, whether you've been clicking on emails sent from Get Set Up or other friends and family have sent you emails, as a participant, you are not required to have a Zoom account. However, once you start hosting a meeting, you will need to have a Zoom account, and you can get a free Zoom account or a paid account. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm working off of my web browser today, so I haven't downloaded the Zoom app on my PC. I'm just doing it because it's easier for me to show you how to work with different options. It's just an ease of use thing for me. So when you start experimenting and practicing, you can use, if you're on a PC or a MacBook, you can also use the web version if you'd like, or you can download the app. So you can download the app on a PC or laptop. You can download your app if you're working off of a tablet or a smartphone. So today I'm working with my web browser. Again, it's just easier for me to navigate and show you everything on one screen. So what I'm going to do is let me bring in another web browser here, and it doesn't matter which web browser you're using. I happen to be working off of Firefox. You could be using any browser that you prefer. So I have my web browser open. I've navigated to zoom.us. And when I'm on the main screen here, if I select plans and pricing, it brings me to a screen that shows me a list of the different plans that you can select from. So try not to get too confused here, but first of all, this is the free account that I was talking about. Now, I know it has a buy now. Whoops, let's go back up there. Sorry about that. I know it has a buy now button. I wish Zoom wouldn't do that. You're not buying anything. You're just registering for an account when you click on this button. With a free Zoom account, you can host up to 100 participants. You can have a group meeting for up to 40 minutes. So this is how it works. With a free account, when you start a Zoom meeting, if you invite one other participant, then you have unlimited time for your Zoom meeting. If you invite 2 or more participants, so now there's 3 of you on the call, then that's when that 40-minute limit kicks in. And from time to time, Zoom will waive that 40-minute limit. Usually during the holidays, they'll send out an email blast saying, we've waived that 40-minute limit. You can go for as long as you want. And so those are the Zoom accounts. Some for the paid accounts over here, you get a little bit more. And I'll let you go ahead and just take a look at that. But I recommend in the beginning, start with a free account. It's really easy to upgrade. And if you think that you are going to need to be hosting Zoom meetings that are longer than 40 minutes with 2 or more folks, then you're probably going to need to go with one of the paid accounts. So just putting that out there. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was, let's start, discussing how do you start a Zoom meeting? So I'm going to just go back to my main screen over here. I've already logged on to my account, and today I'm working with a paid account. I have one of these licensed accounts. So again, I'm on the web version. I just clicked on my account. And then when I look at the left-hand panel over here, if I select meetings, this brings me to upcoming meetings, any previous meetings I have, and then I'm going to talk about my personal room. So we have a couple of questions here. You never get anything more than 30 minutes, really? Okay, I've always gone to the 40 minutes. That's interesting, Joan. I'll be happy to take a look at that for you. I haven't experienced that, so, okay. How do you know what your Zoom plan is? You just joined the Zoom meeting, was prompted. Oh, so if you join a Zoom meeting, you don't have to worry about what your plan is because you don't need an account. When you do go to your, when you do register for an account, that's when you'll know what type of an account you signed up for. When you join a Zoom meeting, you probably don't, you may not have an account because you don't need to. So Victoria, I hope that that answered the question. You only have to worry about what type of an account you have when you start hosting Zoom meetings. And if you still have that question, Victoria, stay on the call after class ends and I'll be happy to go through this with you. Yeah, that's a great question. So let's talk about starting up these Zoom meetings. So folks keep thinking, well, I have to schedule a meeting for everything. Now, let's say you have a colleague that maybe you've been working on the phone with and you're trying to show them, how to do something on the computer and it's just really not working. And you say, you know what, let's just hop onto a Zoom call. I'll share my screen and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Or maybe you text a friend and say, hey, we haven't really, seen each other in a while. How about we hop on a Zoom call like in 5 minutes? So those are called, we refer to those as instant Zoom meetings. You just start them up right away or, in 5 minutes or a half hour. How do you do that? Well, you can start a Zoom meeting without having to schedule one and then simply send one or more people the link to that meeting. So there's 2 different ways to start one of these instant meetings. You can start one using a personal meeting ID, or you can start a Zoom meeting using a randomly generated ID. So what's the difference? When you sign up for your Zoom account, whether it's a free account or a paid account, your Zoom account is assigned a unique personal meeting ID. And so that meeting ID always goes with your account. It never changes. And you want to be careful who you send your personal meeting ID to. So let's talk about that. I'm clicking on personal room here, and I'm going to start a meeting in my personal room. What that means is I'm starting one of these instant Zoom meetings using my personal meeting ID. And typically, I would say you would share this URL. You invite users to your personal room when you're starting up one of these instant meetings, only for those folks that you know well and that you trust. Because if you share this personal meeting ID with people, they start to abuse it. You're going to have to work with the Zoom support team to see if maybe you can get a different meeting ID. So it's going to take a little bit of work. And when you're starting up one of these instant meetings in your personal room, you know, I can click here, start. You can copy the invitation. I'm going to show you how to send it to folks. And then remember, they're going to get this URL. This URL will never change, this link. It will always be the same for any Zoom meeting that you start in your personal room. So again, be careful who you share this with. If you're going to invite a dear friend or maybe family members, what's really nice is that once they get this link, they can use it over and over again. So maybe you say, hey, how about every Friday at 4, we have like a family, you know, get together on Zoom. So for you, every Friday at 4, you go into your personal room, you start up your meeting, and then your family, they can always go back to that email and click on that link, and they can join in at any time. So that's starting up your Zoom, one of these instant Zoom meetings in your personal room, which uses that personal meeting ID. Now, if you want to invite others, one of the ways that you can do this is down here, I'm clicking on copy the invitation. Now, I have a paid account, so I have some additional information here that deals with phone numbers. If you have a free account, you won't have this additional information. But if you click on copy meeting invitation, and again, I'm on a laptop, I'm using the web, my browser version. What it does is it copies all of this information to what's called a clipboard. And for those of you who don't know what a clipboard is, it's like a little temporary area in your computer, your device's memory that holds information. And then as soon as you paste this information into an email, you know, it releases it. Well, it doesn't release it until you copy something else. So this copy meeting invitation copies it to your clipboard. What you would then do is open up your email application, whatever email you're using, compose a new email, and then paste the email, the contents of the clipboard into the body of your email. Address it to one or more people, send it off, and then they now have this information. They now have this link, and they can join in when you start a meeting in your personal room. Does anybody have any questions about starting up one of these instant meetings in your personal room? Just let me know.
When you copy, is it going to tell you how to paste? Because when I do Facebook, I can never figure out where to go to get the paste part.
All right, so when I click on copy invitation, and then I click on copy meeting invitation, let me just bring up, I'm just going to bring up another application here. It's called WordPad. This is on my PC. If I click on, for example, I can paste over here the contents, or on my keyboard, if I press the Control V as in Vicky, keys, Control and V. On a MacBook, it'll be Command and V as in Vicky. It then pastes it. And it depends, you know, I always use the Control V. If you're on, Marianne, are you on a laptop or?
I'm on my iPad right now.
Your iPad. You can also, you can paste it as well. And if you want, I'll show you how to paste it on an iPad.
It'll come up like that? Like
yeah, it will come up like this. If you have a free account, It probably won't have this information. So just, cover your eyes, cover the screen, that part of it.
Okay.
But the rest of it will look similar to this.
Okay,
And then you'll simply, you'll paste that into the body of your new email message.
Okay.
And then you will go ahead, address it, add people's email addresses and then send it away.
okay.
Yep. And so, and on an iPad, I'm going to check on that. I have my phone with me, but after the meeting, let me check on this for you. It may be even easier than that, especially if you're working on the app on your iPad. I think it may be fewer steps than this. So
Oh, okay.
we'll take a look. So anyway, this, and then you'll click on start. And again, I'm on the laptop, the web version. So this is how you can start one of these instant meetings using your personal meeting ID. And again, you're going to be just sharing this with friends and family. Now, let's just say in our example, you're working, you're on the phone talking to maybe another volunteer or a colleague, and you're trying to walk them through something, on the computer, and they're not getting it. And you say, you know what, let's just hop on a Zoom meeting right now. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you on my computer how to do this. So in that case, you would want to start one of these instant Zoom meetings, but instead of starting it in your personal room using your personal meeting ID, you are going to want to start a meeting using one of these randomly generated IDs. So with a randomly generated ID, what happens is that ID is only good for that Zoom meeting. As soon as you end that Zoom meeting, that meeting ID expires. It can never be used again. So when you're starting up one of these instant meetings using a randomly generated ID, the way that you'll do it if you're using a browser, you'll come up here where it says host a meeting. And you'll select, do I want to start with my video on? Do I want to start with my video off? Oh, and Marianne, Victor has gone ahead and put up some information for you. Thank you. Or do you want to start with what we call the screen share mode? And so I'm not going to do this because I already have my Zoom meeting started and won't let me start another one. But again, it's going to allow you to start one of these meetings. It's going to use a randomly generated ID. So that will expire after you end your meeting. And you're going to use this with people that maybe you don't know as well. I also wanted to just mention this. I'm using the browser version today, the web version. But for those of you who have downloaded the Zoom app, whether it's on your PC, your tablet, or your smartphone, this is what the app is going to look like for you when you open it up. Even on a PC, it will look like this. If you wanted to start one of these instant meetings using the app, the Zoom app, you would open your Zoom app, tap on this new meeting or click on it. If you're on a PC, you wanted to start a new meeting in your personal meeting room, you would need to just select this checkbox and then start your meeting. If you wanted to start one of these instant meetings using a randomly generated ID, you're going to leave this check mark. You won't select this, and then you'll start your meeting. So that's what it looks like on the PC. If you're on a tablet or a smartphone, you'll tap on start a new meeting, and then you'll see there are sliders here. This is what we call a slider. If you take your finger and you move the slider to the right, what you're going to do is start a meeting in your personal room. If you do not touch the slider and you start a meeting, it will start your meeting using one of these randomly generated IDs. And so I wanted to just show this to you because some of you are on tablets, some of you may be on smartphones, and it's a little bit different, but the concepts are the same. And let me know if you have any questions about that. All right, so that is starting one of these, what I call instant meetings, just on the fly. Let's hop on to a Zoom meeting. I'll send you the link and let's go. The other thing I want to cover next is how do you schedule a meeting? So let's say I'm a member, I'm hosting a book club meeting, and I want to schedule a meeting for my book club members. Or maybe I'm a coach, I'm a career coach, and I want to schedule meetings with my clients. How do you do that? And so again, I'm on the browser version. I'm coming up here, as long as I'm on my meetings tab over here. If I click on schedule a meeting, what's going to happen next is I have this screen. And so we have lots of different options here. I am not going to go over every single option, but what I will do in our after class notes, I've taken a screenshot of this, and I will send you a document that describes what each of these fields are used for. So we just, don't have time to do all of these, but when I click on schedule meeting, a few things that I do want to cover is, first of all, what's the topic? Our book club meeting. Give it a topic, give it a title. You can have a fuller description, more details. The next thing is we need to set a date and a time for this meeting. So for the date, there's a little calendar icon over here. If you click on it, what it allows you to do is use these teeny tiny little arrows that point to the right. If you click on those arrows, it will move you forward and backward through the months of the calendar. And then you can simply select the day for your meeting. I'm just going to leave it at today. It's easier for me to get to. The start time, here's a drop down here where you can scroll up and down. What time would you like to start? Remember, don't forget, is this going to be AM or PM? And then the duration. So if you're on a free account, you'll only have up to 40 minutes to be able to select for your duration. I'm on a paid account. So if you do have a paid account that you've signed up for, you'll be able to go past that 40-minute time limit. And so I might say, well, we're going to be meeting for an hour and a half. That's what our book club meets for, an hour and a half. Time zone. This is important. Make sure that you, the host, you've set your time zone correctly. Don't worry about other participants. If they're in other time zones, Zoom will handle this appropriately. So you just have to make sure you're setting your time zone correctly. I'm going to show you in just a minute how to set up a repeating meeting right now. I'm just going to keep it for February 28th at 10 o'clock. Meeting ID. This is important. So when you're scheduling a meeting, let's say with my book club members, we may have some new members joining that I don't know, others that, we meet once a month. Let me ask you folks, will I be setting this up using my personal meeting ID or generate automatically one of these randomly generated IDs? What do people think? Anybody?
Generate.
Generate
yeah.
automatic.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, good call. Let's talk about security. So Zoom has been adding lots and lots of security since last year. Some of you may have heard about the Zoom bombing that was going on last year. Yeah, so when you have a free account, when you sign up for a free Zoom account, by default, this passcode option is turned on. You will not have a choice. Zoom has just set this up automatically for all free accounts. You cannot deselect passcode. However, what you can do is change your passcode. So for example, today is Wednesday. I I could make the passcode for today's meeting Wednesday. You know, you can do anything you wish. So you can change the passcode rather than use the randomly generated one that comes with your meeting.
Mm,
So for free accounts, again, you won't have the option, but you can change the passcode. Now, something else that you can use if you've signed up for a paid account, you have the option to use a passcode or enable the waiting room, but you must use one of these. You can no longer schedule a Zoom meeting without any type of security. The application won't allow you. But in addition to a passcode, you could also decide to turn on the waiting room. And what that will do is it gives you another level of security. So as your participants click on their link to join, what they'll see next is they're placed in a waiting room, like, you know, if you're in a doctor's waiting room. And what it does is it shows them a little screen that says, you know, the meeting hasn't started yet. The host will let you in just a moment. So as the host, if you enable a waiting room, what you're going to see is as your participants start to join, you'll have a little message that pops up and it'll say, you know, Vicky is in the waiting room. And what you'll need to do is click on the admit, if there's a red admit button, to admit them into your meeting. But if you don't recognize their name, maybe they joined and their device is a phone number, what you can do is you can opt to chat with them. And you might want to say, hi, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, but can you give me your name? Just so that you can control who you admit or don't admit. So that's the waiting room. It's another level of security. So even if you're on a free Zoom account and you're forced to use, or the passcode is selected for you, you can also enable the waiting room. It's up to you, or you can deselect it. Your call. And so I just wanted to mention that. Let's talk a little bit about these video options. These refer to the state of your camera when you join a Zoom meeting. So for the host, this is up to you. When you start your Zoom meeting, if you want to start it with your camera off, you'll leave it like this, or you can select on, and as soon as you start your Zoom meeting, your camera is on. For participants, again, the default is off. So if you want your participants to join the meeting with their camera off, you'll leave it as the default. But just know who your participants are. If you think that there are some participants who might be a little technically challenged, or maybe you have some young children who are coming on, you might want to have them join with their camera on. So it's one less thing for them to worry about, one less thing for you to have to show them how to do, but it's your call, you decide. So this is what the video is. This audio is for paid accounts only. If you're on a free Zoom account, you won't even see this. This just enables the host to let participants join separately their audio portion on a telephone, or just use their computer audio, or both. It's nice to use this if you think you might have people joining in from a car, you know, if they're driving. Let's talk about some of these meeting options. Allow participants to join at any time. If you select this, you're allowing your participants to join the Zoom meeting before you, the host, has joined. This is something you might want to consider if you think people are going to be joining in from different parts of the country or the world. Maybe their internet connection isn't all that strong. They want to join a few minutes early to make sure they can connect, test their audio, their camera. So that's allowing participants to join at any time. And just note though, if you're going to turn on the waiting room, you can't use this option, allow participants to join at any time. It just negates it. Mute participants upon entry. this is something you might want to leave as selected as on. If you have a lot of folks, a lot of participants joining your meeting, it can get noisy when everybody has their microphone turned on. So you might want to consider leaving this selected, or you can just deselect it if you're like, no, everybody comes in and they can all be talking, doesn't matter. Break rooms, that's if you have a paid account only. We actually have a class, another Zoom class that talks about using break rooms and breakout rooms, excuse me, and then automatically record meeting. So as a host, you, or even as a participant, you can record a Zoom meeting. If you're going to be recording a meeting, and by the way, if you are recording a meeting, you need to let your participants know about it. I like to keep this selected because I know that my meetings are being recorded, and I can't tell you how many times if I haven't had this selected, I start the meeting and then halfway through I realized, oh, I was supposed to be recording this meeting. So it's just set on by default. You can always deselect it if you don't think you're going to be recording your meeting. And then once you've gone through all of these and you've decided what to turn on and turn off, all you need to do is click on this save button. And now you have saved your meeting, in this case, manage our book club meeting, sorry. Now, just because you schedule a meeting doesn't mean you have invited people to that meeting. That is a separate step. Zoom doesn't automatically send the invitation for you when you schedule a meeting. What you'll need to do is come over here and click copy invitation. And it's the same steps that I showed you before. You'll copy the meeting invitation. It copies it to the clipboard. And then what you'll be doing is going into your email application, creating and composing a new email, pasting the contents of the clipboard, maybe using the Control V or Command V if you're on a MacBook, and then pasting the contents in there into your email. Does anybody have any questions about scheduling a meeting? I know we went over a lot. Okay, and again, just, stop and let me know. And what I would suggest is, if you haven't already done so, sign up for a free Zoom account. Go back and start practicing, starting a meeting, scheduling a meeting. Just go back over what we did. You can't hurt anything. You just, you can invite people if you wish, or just, practice turning things on and off. I'm going to edit this meeting that I've just scheduled because I want to show you how you can set up a recurring meeting, a repeating meeting, because I have people asking me this all the time. So this is my book club meeting. We meet once a month. In order to set this up as a recurring meeting, I'm going to click on this checkbox that says recurring meeting. And then what we'll do is we need to answer. We have some additional information that's required. So how often are we going to meet? This is going to be monthly. How many times a month? We're going to meet just once a month. You can have other selections here. Occurs on. So this is where you can, you have a choice. So you can say, this is always going to occur on, the 29th of the month, 29th day. Or you can come down here and say, we're always going to have our book club meeting. Maybe it's the second Wednesday of every month. Then we need an end date. And so when you set up one of these recurring meetings, it doesn't go on forever. Zoom requires you to have an end date. Now, you can use the calendar icon by clicking on the calendar icon. You can move forward through the months and select a particular date that these recurring meetings will end by. Or you can do this by number of occurrences. And just, I think you have up to 20 occurrences. So you can say, we're going to start our book club on 4/28. And after 20 of these meetings, that's the end. Now you can always go back, schedule a new meeting, set it up as repeating, and have another 20 occurrences if you want to keep it moving forward. Anyone have any questions about that? And so that is scheduling a meeting, setting up one of these recurring meetings, and I would click on save. And again, when you click on this copy invitation, you'll notice that all of a sudden that we have all of these dates here. So what Zoom will do is it will handle the recurring dates. So you just send out the invitation once, and Zoom will know to send out these recurring invites to your participants. So people are always worried. I'm like, every month, do I have to send out a new Zoom meeting? No, you don't. You just send it out once. If it's a recurring meeting, Zoom handles the rest. That's what's great about it.
Does it remind you also?
Yes, and this is what I'm getting to next. So, so what we've been talking about so far is when we schedule a meeting, we're required to copy the invitation, and then we have to manually go into our compose a new email, paste the invitation into the body of the email and send it. You also have an option to use this calendaring feature. So when you schedule a meeting, one of the things that you can do is you can also put it on your calendar. And I'm going to show you what other things it will allow you to do. So I'm on a PC, and my options, my calendar systems that are supported on the PC are Google Calendar, Outlook, and Yahoo. If you're scheduling this meeting on an iPad or an iPhone or Android, iPhone, you will also see another option for iCalendar. That's Apple's calendar. I'm just on a PC today, so these are the options I have.
Right.
Now, I'm going to click on Google Calendar. I use Google. I actually use a number of different calendar options, but I am just going to, I have a number of different Google accounts I use for training. So I'm going to select my particular Google account. When I do this, Zoom is asking me to allow options or allow access to my calendar. I'm going to say yes. My Zoom account wants this. Then we just give it a minute. And this is the next screen that shows up. So this is why I like using this calendar option, especially if I am inviting a number of different folks, different participants. So what are we looking at here? I don't know if it'll let me. Yeah, it lets me make my screen a little bit larger. Okay. So here's our book club meeting. It's scheduled for, May 12th, 10 a.m. A few other things, someone asked about notifications. So one of the things that I'm doing now, I'm going to put this on my calendar. And when I select add notification, by default right now, it's going to notify me 30 minutes before the meeting starts. So there's going to be this little pop-up notification that says, you have your book club meeting in 30 minutes. The other thing that you can do is you can add additional notifications. Now, you can either have these little pop-ups or you can send an email notification. And instead of minutes, how about we do days? So let's just say, and I'll have this maybe 3 days before, maybe you're scheduling a meeting a month from today, and you're using the calendaring scheduling. What you might want to do is set up, you can keep adding notifications. You might want to add maybe every week, you send out an email notification just to keep reminding people, hey, we have a meeting coming up next month, And then you can also set up notifications, maybe an hour before, a half hour before. It's up to you, the host, and you will be, you can schedule multiple notifications, and you'll just click on this add notification button, specify an email or a notification, one of these pop-up notifications. The other thing you can do on this screen, which is really great, is you can edit the invitation. So you can add, please plan on attending. You can remove information, you can add information. Really nice to be able to do. And here's our passcode. I changed it to Wednesday. The third thing that you can do, which is really nice on this screen, is you can start inviting participants. You don't have to move over to your email application to do this. Everything is here, and you can simply start typing out people's email addresses. So I'm going to add it to my Hotmail account. Maybe I'm going to invite, family members. I have a bunch of different emails here. So what you're doing is you're adding participants' email addresses here. So you're inviting them. You can set up notifications that they will see as well as yourself. And then you can edit, modify the actual invite, the contents. You can then click on save. And this is a recurring event. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, I want to send all the recurring events out, invites for recurring events. I do want to send this to my calendar guests. And what happens next is you will see on your calendar this set up. If I click on it, I can always see all the contents, all the information. I can actually start the meeting from here. I know it says join the Zoom meeting, but as a host, you're starting it. When you send out that email invite, your participants will receive the email. They can either click on, yes, I accept, I plan on attending, no, or maybe. If they are going to accept your invite, it will ask them, would you like to place this on your calendar? Add this to your calendar. They have the option to add it to their calendar as well. So what will happen is if you've added these notification or email notifications, not only does it put the event on their calendar, but they will start to receive these notifications as well as the meeting date approaches. And so this is using, simply selecting this calendar feature, which I think is nice. And I know some people probably have been afraid of this, when they schedule, they're like, I don't even know what this is. I don't even want to look at this. Well, now I've shown you, it's another option that not only does it add it to your calendar, but there's the option to add it to, for participants, they can add it to their calendar as well. Does anyone have any questions about this so far? Schedule a meeting, how do you use the calendar feature? I know it's a lot. And Tanaz, you have a question about how to share a video. We're not covering that today, but at the end of class, I will show you some of the other Zoom classes that we offer that I think will help you out there. The next thing I wanted to show folks, we've been talking about working off of different devices. If you're on a tablet, if you're using the Zoom app, smartphone, tablet, or even on your PC, on your app, what you'll do is tap or click on the schedule icon here. And this is the screen that you will see when you're working on your tablet or smartphone. It has all of the same information that I showed you using the web version, the browser version. You'll need to just tap on advanced options. So it'll open up some additional fields for you because, there's only so much real estate. And that's how you're going to schedule your meeting if you are working off of a tablet. And you'll be able to use the calendar feature as well. It will be there. You'll see there's the calendar feature. If you wanted to set up a recurring meeting, you would tap or click on the recurring meeting checkbox. Any questions so far? Is this daunting? Do people think they might feel a little bit better about hosting a meeting? For those of you who haven't done it before? Okay, Carol's thinking, yeah. And just know that, you know, you can come back and take this class as many times as you wish. If you want a recording of this class, request it and then just walk through it and then just practice. You know, get your free Zoom account, you know, click on, you know, schedule a meeting, or, you know, start a meeting in your personal room and just turn, you know, different things on and off and see what it looks like. The other thing that I wanted to cover here, so this is, you know, starting your Zoom meeting. We talked about scheduling a meeting, and then remember, hosting a meeting is when you're going to start a meeting with the randomly generated ID. The other thing that I wanted to do was, let's see if I can get to, not let's see, but let's get to the Get Set Up IO website, because I want to show you how you can search for other Zoom classes. So I'm on the home screen here. I'm going to just go up where it says search for guides and classes. I'm going to type out Zoom, and immediately what it does is it shows you a listing of the different Zoom classes that are available. I'm just going to press my enter key here so it shows them all on one screen. So we have Advanced Zoom for Host, Zoom Virtual Backgrounds for Beginners, for those who are wanting to know how do I add a background, games, let's see, what else do we have here? Creating custom backgrounds, how to look like a superstar. That has to do with your camera, your lighting. We have Zoom practice sessions, hosting a practice session, some tips and tricks. So there's everything you can imagine. How do you use the whiteboard? How do you share your screen? Breakouts and so on. So it's all here. If you want to take other Zoom classes, take a look, see what's interesting. And Joan, let me just read what you have to say. Only 40 minutes. So what happens if you choose 45 minutes? Will you get 40 minutes? Yes. So Joan, if you have a free account, after 40 minutes, your Zoom call ends. If you're on with 2 or more participants, if it's just you and one other person, you can keep going. Now, when we talk about this, the meeting duration, if you're on a free account, you can set up, you know, I set up an hour and a half. I could go for longer. So it looks like it's only 30 or 45 minutes. Yeah, you're only allowed to go 40 minutes. I don't know why it says 45 minutes. I'll have to take a look at that. I have a free account too. Hi, Carol. Yeah, question.
I want to tell that lady, for my Spanish class, what my teacher does is after 30 minutes, it kicks us off and we all just sign right back in and we start a new one for 30 minutes.
Right. And so it's only 30 minutes, really?
Yeah, I think she got it by herself. I forgot if she's through a nonprofit, because then it would be longer.
Yeah, Wiki generally shows 4 options like 0 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 and 45 minutes. I think 5
Okay.
minutes is for the buffer time.
The buffer time.
Yeah.
Oh, right. All right. Okay. And you know what? I want to take a look at that too. Thanks, Victor. I appreciate it. Yeah. Let's, in the after class notes, I'm going to go do some research on this. But what Carol was saying is, it sounds like your teacher has invited you to her personal room, so that whatever link she sent you, you can use it over and over again. And that's another nice thing too. If you trust the people that you're sharing your personal meeting ID with, inviting them to that personal meeting room, after, X amount of minutes, as soon as you drop your call, you as the host just start up another meeting, and your users just use that exact same link, your participants join back in. So, yep, that's how it works. Any other questions that I can answer for you today about scheduling, hosting a meeting? Okay, well, great. Yeah, sure, question.
I'm assuming that one that said host practice means that you can do what you've just taught us.
Yeah, what we'll do is, let's see. Let's take a look at that. Where's my host? Let's take a look and see. I haven't taken it yet. I want to, because I want to see how Donna does this. Let's take a look. Practice sharing screens, video features, using some of the advanced features, prepare for hosting. Okay, so this will let participants practice these skills. Yeah, and prepare. So the problem is, you can only have one host on a Zoom call. And I don't know, as a host, you can actually assign others to be a host as well, one host at a time. And I haven't taken Donna's class yet, so I don't know how she does it. I think I'm going to sign up for this, but it is going to let you practice sharing your screens. And I think the idea is, before you start hosting your own meeting, maybe you can start practicing some of these other functions that you would want to know how to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to sign up for this one because I'm really interested in how folks are using this, because I think it's great. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
All right, I am going to stop my sharing. And Victor has put a link in the chat today for the hostess Zoom host practice session. It's like that. And that is bringing us almost to the end of our hour. I hope this helps answer questions you may have. I'm hoping you feel a little bit more comfortable going out there and hosting your own Zoom session. Just practice, sign up for a free Zoom account, practice starting Zoom sessions, scheduling them, and know that you can come back and take this class as many times as you wish. And thanks so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed it. I love meeting, folks. For some of you who have been in my other classes, it's good to see you. Otherwise, have a great day, a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in other classes.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And to stop our live screen.